You just got home from work and are most delighted to unwind after a stressful day. You've got a couple movies lined up to watch, you could read your book, hey, you might even start filling in that coloring book you bought. But before we start any of those, it can't hurt to unwind a bit by scrolling on our phones. Let's do it. But by the time you get up to do these things, it's night already.
I wish I didn't spend so much time scrolling on my phone. I don't know. My name is Uzma. I have a bachelor's degree in neuroscience, which means that I don't know much, but I know more than you unless there's a fly! It's possible that you know more than me, but I doubt it. Today, I've come upon us to answer the question, what does TikTok do to your brain that makes it so addictive? Focusing on TikTok in particular because that app is the pioneer of short-form content, whereas like Instagram Reels or whatever YouTube Shorts is just followed suit. Hopefully YouTube doesn't hate on me for that. And TikTok is the primary app featured in all these little papers that I found researching. What really sucks is that while I was researching this video, I literally could not go for 10 minutes sitting down reading a paper, dissecting a paper, writing what I wanted to say or anything without having to go on TikTok, and it was so annoying because I would get in such a flow state, but then I had to put my phone down and consciously rewire my brain to get back into the grind. How does TikTok do that? It's kind of insane to me how it literally rots your brain the way a drug would. We have all agreed to this feeling of spending excessive time on short form apps, so what does brain rot actually mean scientifically? To answer, I'm gonna walk us through three main parts. When we're talking about anything having psychological effects on the brain or the body, we have to walk through three aspects. These are the stimulus, organism, and response. Stimulus is the app itself, its content, and its addictive design. The organism is us, our internal state, and our brain activity, whereas the response is TikTok addictive behavior and the effects that it has on us. So if you're ready to learn about the neural mechanisms behind brain rot, I'm gonna take your hand as we wade through these unknown waters. Okay. Welcome to the modern age where the most addictive epidemic is not a substance, not alcohol, heroin, not opium. It's that damn phone. The most addictive element of short-form content is the algorithm. Let's talk about how TikTok designs itself to be addictive. We can either focus on its information or its system, both of which, if they have high quality, make for a really enjoyable user experience. Information quality is the content that you're actually consuming in-app. Outfit of the days, car crash compilations, discourse videos. How well does your boyfriend know you? If he gets more than 3 wrong, then he owes you chocolate, or flowers, or a teddy bear. How well does your girlfriend know you? If she gets more than 3 wrong, she owes you head, or head, or head. You get it. Information quality is the type of content that you get. The other bit is system quality, the technological attributes of it, like its ease of use, is it user-friendly, how well does it work with other systems, does it work well with your phone, can you project it onto the TV, stuff like that. I'm gonna talk about the information quality first, and specifically algorithms. Like, obviously algorithms are designed to be for you, right? When you first download TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever, you'll first be hit with like the most palatable videos ever. They're all around 1 million likes and everything, but once you start actually engaging with certain content for longer, if you like it, if you save it, if you share it, then TikTok starts narrowing down the stuff that you actually like. And you guys get this, you know this. That's when you start to get pretty niche and your algorithm can look completely different from somebody else's. Like, I, in particular, am attuned to every single person's opinion on whether or not Chapel Roan deserves her fame or whatever that means. But you ask Chris if he's heard about the Chapel Roan discourse and he just gives you this blank stare while his mind replays blurry videos of random people getting crushed by factory machinery or something like that. Ideally, the longer amount of time you spend on TikTok, the more optimized your algorithm becomes for you. With more algorithm optimization, the more addicted you get to TikTok, and the better your algorithm becomes, the more addicted you get into TikTok, and it's a vicious spiral. Sometimes TikTok's algorithm doesn't exactly work like that. They'll use this method called user-based collaborative filtering, where the recommendation algorithm will not only recommend to the user the content that they're interested in, but also something fresh and unexpected, supposedly so as not to leave the user like disappointed with the singularity of the app. They do a lot of cross-recommending information from other people who have like similar interests as you to see if like that will hit too. Yet often it's this introduction of new and fresh content that often makes people feel like they might be missing out. Therefore, perpetually scrolling to the next video to see if it's like this new, brand new thing that they've never seen before that's gonna be amazing and so fun. Or if you're getting fed a little bit too much of this unique content, perpetually scrolling to the next video to see if TikTok will actually remember what you actually enjoy seeing. I think they alternate between these two in the app very intentionally to keep us addicted to the app. In psychology, this term is known as the variable schedule of reinforcement. Reinforcement is a reward, and it encourages to keep doing whatever behavior it was that we just got rewarded for. For example, the behavior could be a dog rolling over and then the reward would be getting a little treat. But in the case of TikTok, the behavior would be scrolling to the next TikTok, and then the reward or the reinforcement would be like a good TikTok and thereby enjoyment of the TikTok. A continuous schedule of reinforcement would be a dog earning a treat every single time they rolled over, or in the case of TikTok, it would be us getting a good TikTok every time that we scrolled. But you don't want to give the dog a treat every single time that he rolls over. Sometimes you just want to show that he can do that when you have your friends over or something like that. And TikTok knows that they cannot keep giving us good videos hit after hit after hit after hit. And if the algorithm was perfectly attuned to our interests, then it would be kind of easy for us to just set it aside when we're done with it. A variable schedule of reinforcement keeps us hooked. That's the dog earning a treat every now and again when it rolls over, but not every single time, just every now and again. Us getting a good TikTok every now and again, but not with every single scroll. I don't know, I like to think of it as like a toxic boyfriend or girlfriend or partner or whatever. The good moments will be really good, but then the bad moments will be like pretty bad, which actually makes it a lot harder to leave because you're gonna keep waiting for that moment that you do get the reinforcement, the love, the treat, the good TikTok. So if the algorithm actually did stick to exactly one type of video, then you would stop using it. Like, they need the variability to keep you engaged. Some videos that they know you like, some videos that they know you may not like. Either way, you're gonna keep scrolling because after like finally 10 videos, 20 videos, you find the one that hits. That's part of what makes you so addicted, varying the information quality of the content. When it comes to system quality of it, also I don't have any coffee in this, I just like don't know what to do with my hands. But when it comes to system quality of the TikTok, its addictive nature is absolutely, it's just like blown up by the endless interface. It's spoon feeding. Lack of choice is appealing. Actually, did you not? TikTok has an endless amount of videos, and really it is endless, filled with a bunch of randos thinking that they're going to be the next Alex Earl. But I'm actually going to be the next Alex Earl. It's infinite possibilities. If you don't like the current video, you can just scroll into the next video, and if you don't like that video, scroll into the next video. This interface design is supposed to prevent us from exiting out of the app. It actually engages our system one thinking. So there's this doctor called Dr. Daniel Kahneman, whose book that I have mentioning system 1 and system 2 thinking. Wait, hold on. That's the one. Thinking Fast and Slow. I took one psychology class my very first semester of college, and my professor recommended this book, and it's actually really entertaining, but I'm gonna use it for this video. In this book, which is often deemed the psychological bible of cognitive processing, Daniel Kahneman, PhD, defines system 1 and system 2 thinking. System 1 thinking is supposed to be that more intuitive, fast track thinking. Thinking fast, right? Okay, that's part 1 of the book, right? System 2 is supposed to be that rational, slower track thinking. That's the other half of the book. When you're scrolling on TikTok, since you actually don't have to make any choices about what you're going to watch next, your brain constantly stays in that system 1 thinking, the intuitive, fast track thinking. You don't actually have to make any decisions using your system 2 thinking, your rational processing, to decide what you want to watch. System 1 thinking is a lot faster, keeps you on the app, keeps you scrolling in an endless loop that is so devoid of thought, or at least any kind of system 2 thought, that it feels almost good to not employ those parts of your brain. It's almost like you're on autopilot with only that system 1 thinking being active, and like the rest of your body can just kick back. I'm gonna put this back. It's designed to be addictive. Ooh. So now that we've covered how the stimulus, that being TikTok, is designed to be addictive, we need to understand what's actually going on in the brain. System 1 and system 2 thinking is like a fun perspective psychologically, but I always want to know more of like what's going on inside of the brain biologically. For that, we need to take a closer look. Get your magnifying glasses, girl. Your microscopes. I don't know what I'm saying.
His head. Chilled monkey brain.
Researchers ran my favorite kind of study. It's an fMRI study, that's right. And if you watched my first video, first of all, I love you. And you already know what this is, and this might be common knowledge, but I just want to make this knowledge accessible to everyone who watches this video. An fMRI machine is a machine that you lie inside so that others can record your brain activity. You can watch things inside, and whatever parts of your brain light up during that experiment are the ones that are active. Scientists recruited 30 young TikTok users, stuffed them inside of the fMRI machine, and then showed them 2 different kinds of videos. They had generalized videos and personalized videos. The way they got their generalized videos, those were just the videos that were immediately recommended to like the public as a whole when you first download TikTok and you don't have an algorithm that's personalized to you yet, whereas the personalized videos were directly from the individual's For You page. Scientists were given consent to record them prior to the experiment, and then they showed them while they were inside of the fMRI machine. So these are the videos that the algorithm knows that they like. They have to show me videos of cats and stuff like that. Honestly, my algorithm has been absolutely terrible lately, and I really don't like TikTok anymore. I don't know if they're like doing that on purpose. Terrible business approach in my opinion. And the order all of this went while they were inside the machine. First, they started with a 15-second start phase in which they didn't show them anything, followed by 60 seconds of generalized videos, 6 videos, 10 seconds each. Then another 30-second rest phase when nothing was shown to them, kind of like a reset button. And they showed them 60 seconds of personalized videos, so this is from their algorithm, right? And there were also 6 videos, each of them 10 seconds long too. Another 30-second rest phase where nothing was shown to them, and then another 60 seconds of generalized videos again. Remember, this is all while scientists are directly recording which parts of the brain light up while they're watching these types of videos. Those parts of the brain actually tell us a lot about the addictive nature of TikTok. Results. There was a good amount of overlap in brain activity between generalized videos and personalized videos, which makes sense because, for example, like your visual cortex is going to be active because you're literally using your eyes to watch the video. But that's blah. The parts of the brain that only lit up while watching the personalized videos, I think that's the real kicker here, and that's what makes TikTok so addictive. There's a system in the brain called the default mode network, and this is just a bunch of interconnected brain structures that start lighting up, get activated while you're resting or while you're thinking about yourself. And what is more self-obsessive and restful than having some me time scrolling on your own personalized TikTok algorithm? Yes. One of the brain structures at the default mode network is the dorsomedial prefrontal cortex. Say it after me. Dorsomedial prefrontal cortex.
Dorsomedial prefrontal cortex.
Those of you who watched my first video know that you have to repeat this in order to gain the knowledge that I am imparting onto you, so I hope that you use this wisely. Returners may also know that the prefrontal cortex is involved in higher level decision making. It's actually just one specific part of the brain here, which is the dorsomedial prefrontal cortex. It's just basically the part that's like on top of your brain and towards the midline. But for today's purposes, we're gonna short that to DMPFC. I don't want to say that whole thing. Its function is self-regulation, and in the specific case of you watching your own personalized TikTok videos on your own algorithm, DMPFC's role is specific in that it is designed to help you focus on the present stimuli and kind of like ignore your other plans for the future. That's what you want for a little bit of R&R. That's why it may seem like you're literally sucked into a timeless portal when you go on TikTok, because the DMPFC is actively suppressing your thought about time. All you can focus on is what's right in front of you, not what happened in the past, not what happened in the future. You can really lose yourself by forgetting that you have like things to do. Thank you, DMPFC, for that self-regulation. It may not be the healthiest to regulate ourselves to only focus on the TikToks in front of us. Somebody's gotta do the job. Brain structure number 2, repeat after me, the cingulate cortex.
Cingulate cortex.
This one does something a little bit similar here. I'm so sorry if you watched my first video because you might think you know what the cingulate cortex does in this case, but actually you don't. You don't. The crazy thing about the brain is different brain structures can have different roles depending on the situation that they're in. So it's a little bit confusing and it's not always straightforward, but stay with me. When consuming TikTok, it's the posterior or the back part of the cingulate cortex that gets active, and it regulates attention. Here, the cingulate cortex is shifting attention from external stimuli and narrowing the focus on the TikToks in front of you so that you can get a deeper processing of the mid-century modern homes that are under $300,000 in Dallas, Texas, or something. Remember, these parts of the brain are only active when you're engaging with individually personalized videos, so like it's only what's active when you're watching your own algorithm. So the cingulate cortex deeply attunes you to the videos that you're seeing, losing attention on literally everything else around you. Does that not literally sound like a drug? Or like some types of drugs? So like you could go outside and touch some grass, but the moment you pull out TikTok while you're on that grass, you're only going to be focusing on the TikToks in front of you because of Mrs. Posterior cingulate cortex. The grass will have been pointless. Put your phone down while you're outside, enjoy nature. If the DMPFC and the cingulate cortex are kind of like mixing up in your mind, don't worry about it, okay? I just want you to know that the main takeaway of these brain structures in the default mode network is that it hones in your attention on TikTok only. The last part of the brain is not officially a part of the default mode network, and it is the most important element to me in my opinion why TikTok is so addictive. This is, repeat after me, the ventral tegmental area.
Ventral tegmental area.
Okay, the VTA.
Woo.
The VTA is the dopamine factory. Okay, you guys know what dopamine is, but I'm gonna redefine it just in case there's somebody who doesn't, alright? To put it most simplistically, it's the happy drug making you feel good every time you do something that you consider to be rewarding. The fact that the VTA was active while watching personalized TikToks in this fMRI machine, personalized, not the generalized ones, means that it was pumping out dopamine while you were watching those videos. Now you know why that feels good, right? Dopamine is also released when you do drugs, not as much when you do something that's like normal, okay? When you do drugs, you usually usually get like a huge amount of dopamine released inside of you. But it may not be that different to social media addiction. Okay, hold on. Addiction and substance abuse can be applied to a wide variety of things. It's not just like alcohol and drugs anymore. It can be literally anything. Some things, of course, are much more addictive than others to like the universal population, but anyone can get addicted to video game playing. They can get addicted to gambling, to binge eating. Social media use has become a new one too. These addictions activate parts of the brain called the reward system, and the VTA, of course, is one of them. When you are addicted to something, you probably like it so much because it's giving you those big hits of dopamine. But continuous and chronic exposure to whatever is giving you those big hits actually negatively impacts the reward system. See, if you're abusing too much, then your brain starts thinking you're getting way too much dopamine than is actually necessary for you. So in kind of like a homeostatic mechanism to bring you back to baseline, the brain will decide to decrease the amount of dopamine receptors in itself so that even if the VTA is producing a lot, your brain is not responding to it because the dopamine cannot find another receptor to bind to and actually get that feel-good feeling going. Our brain is trying to look out for us and get us back to normal, but the way the monkey part of our brain interprets that is, oh, I'm not feeling as good as I used to when I first started scrolling on TikTok. What can I do to get the same feeling that I used to? Well, maybe I should just scroll more on TikTok. Maybe I'll find a video that is really good, which is true. You do get that same feeling, but only if you scroll more and more and more and so on. Now you have to spend way much more time on TikTok to get that same original feeling that you got when you first tried it out and when your algorithm was first personalized to you. So you have to spend more time on TikTok, or you have to like multitask the media around you. I know some of you guys are watching this YouTube video while watching TikTok on your phone, and that's okay. I do it too, but you should do some self-reflection. Anyway, so more time scrolling on TikTok or multiple media going on all at once so that the dopamine that is being produced in the VTA can finally find some receptor that has been hiding away because there used to be so many receptors before to actually lead to that feel-good feeling in your brain. This, my friends, is tolerance, which is one of the key properties of addiction. You might be literally addicted to TikTok. Don't self-diagnose and get weird with it though, okay? Be normal about it. Ugh. Sorry, I was gonna end with the word addiction so we could lead into the next part really nicely. So let me just, this, my friends, is tolerance, which is one of the key properties of addiction.
The most efficient way for us to do this is for each one of us to try and attempt to imagine what it is like inside of the possessed mind of the addict.
We got through the stimulus, TikTok, the organism, our brain, and now we have to talk about the response. I did kind of jump the gun a little bit talking about addiction in the last part, but I feel like it kind of flows well like this because I want to talk about its effects now. So since I was a little bit too quick on the draw, let me get this nice little diagram to simplify it for you. Social media can be a cool new place to find cool new things, so that leads to wanting to find those cool things. Go online, you seek for that content, anticipate it, might take a couple scrolls to get a good one, trigger an attention-grabbing hook at the beginning of a TikTok. For example, these are the best movies I've watched in my entire life, or these are the best books I've ever watched in my entire life, or something like that, which leads to a reward. Enjoyable TikTok. That's your reward of the TikTok, so that makes you want more, so you continue seeking and anticipating and finding it and getting rewarded by it, and then it's an endless cycle, yes? There are three main effects of social media addiction: attention, depression, and anxiety. Attention! It is true that in the influx of content, everybody out here is trying to get your attention because you should not be watching other influencers, you should be watching me, please. I want the engagement from you, I want it. Thank you very much. Over 85% of American teachers have agreed that today's digital tech is leading to a very easily distracted generation. I mentioned how addiction makes you want to get more stimulation, right? So that could either be from scrolling more on TikTok ad infinitum. Sometimes that involves multitasking a bunch of different media all at once. And to prove this distraction claim, 150 teens and young adults were gathered to perform an attention study. What they did was that these participants reported their daily media multitasking. For example, switching between apps, going on TikTok while you're watching a movie, you could be on your phone, playing Subway Surfers while watching a YouTube video. So they got that data, shoved them into another fMRI machine physically. They got bruises. I don't know why I said that. And then they had them perform either speech listening tasks or reading tasks, and I'm going to make you perform a reading task. All right, everybody, attention! Let's do this. Instructions are as follows. I'm gonna read a sentence to you. You give me a thumbs up if it makes sense, or a thumbs down if it doesn't. An example would be like, this morning I had a bowl of cereal, or this morning I had a bowl of shoes. Just read what's on the screen and then tell me if it makes sense or not, okay? There will be audio interjecting to distract you, but just focus on what's in front of the screen. Are we ready? Okay, let's begin.
When I go to the club, I wanna hit those club classics. Yeah, club. sticking out your gyatt for the rizzler. Being the cool girl means I'm a hot, brilliant, funny woman who adores football, poker. You gotta give him that hot tuah, spit on that.
Welcome back. Was that hard? I bet if you multitask a lot with your media, it was actually a lot harder than those of you that don't. Surprisingly, your scores were a lot lower, based on the study at least, I can't guarantee, a lot lower than those who don't multitask their media. You'd think that multitasking in real life would lead to better attention at the task at hand, but actually it doesn't. I also bet that a lot of you who did worse here, who tend to multitask media, had a lot more activity in the DMPFC than those that did not. That's true. That's what they found in the fMRI machine, baby. Y'all remember the DMPFC? She self-regulates us to focus on TikTok, and she's trying to help the participants help you focus on the actual task at hand, which was telling me if the sentence written on the screen made sense or not. And DMPFC is working overtime in those of you that failed at this task. Because people that multitask more can't actually consume and digest more than the people who don't multitask. Matter of fact, people that multitask their media, their attention is a lot poorer. So they require more effort, more activity from the DMPFC to focus on their media. So this is a quality often seen in those with social media addiction, higher DMPFC activity to accommodate for the poor attention that they have. Bye-bye attention, let's check out depression. This is a little bit sad, as you might have guessed. Another group of researchers ran a study with middle to high school students and their social media use, having them fill out questionnaires on their social media use and also on their depressive symptoms, both at the original time of recruiting them and also 2 years later to see if anything had changed in them. The social media questionnaire asked questions like, do you ever have a craving or strong desire to use social media? Or have you ever been away from social media and felt like you were missing it too much to engage in normal day-to-day activities? The responses would range on a scale from 0 to 3, and 0 would be like, I least relate to this, 3 would be like, yes, I relate to this so much. And then I'll show you the depressive questionnaire since it's pretty short. There's statements like, I felt miserable or unhappy, or I hated myself, with participants having to mark if that was true, not true, or sometimes true. Honestly, I feel like I would have used a different one just because I feel like the verbiage here is not quite right. It seems like feelings that somebody would have in occurrence with a small incident, like a singular small incident, whereas social media use is something that is long and spanning and reoccurring. I don't know, I really don't like this questionnaire. I feel like there could have been a better questionnaire for them to answer, but it is simplistic for the little youngins, so maybe they're better able to understand it or something, I don't know. Nonetheless, I don't have a PhD, nor am I pursuing one at the moment, so what do I know? But what really grinds my gears is that girls were much more disproportionately affected by depression, even if they exhibited the same amounts of addictive social media use as their boy counterparts. Obviously, a lot more research has to be done on this, but my mind immediately went to how girls are so conditioned to care about their appearance and how that is just everywhere on social media. Obviously it doesn't have to do just with appearance. I'm sure there are a lot of other variables that make girls feel a little bit less attractive than the boys, but I feel like the one distinctive difference between what girls consume on social media and what boys consume on social media is optimizing their appearance to some conventional beauty standard that blah, blah, blah. I just have to mention this. I saw this TikTok. I can't find the original one for the life of me, but I did find one that somebody was quoting. When I fit into a size 0, but the girl next to me is a size 8 and has a healthy relationship with food and doesn't fear gaining weight, she's the real winner. This pisses me off so much because I cannot imagine a young girl stumbling across that and then internalizing the fact that, okay, well, size 0 is more desirable even though I might not have a healthy relationship with food. Because the size 8 fat pig, I'm size 10 by the way, is blissfully unaware of what it's like to be a pretty thin girl. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. When I was 10, my orthodontist said that this tooth is slanted, and I still have not gotten over that, and now I touch the back of that tooth every single day with my tongue, wishing that it was straight. Imagine being 10 and finding another unattractive body part to fixate over every single week. We should not be giving our children social media. We should not be doing this. And yeah, boys don't get that content as frequently, if at all. So it makes sense to me that girls would exhibit more depressive symptoms because of that appearance thing. And now I don't have any resources to back that up, but that's my hypothesis. Sorry for that cynical little rant. Just that the effect of social media use on young girls is something that obviously I can relate to and is very prominent in my mind. And I just wish it didn't affect them so much. I feel really bad that these results show that they literally get more depressed than boys even if they have the same. Ooh, it's okay. Anxiety also says hi. This is a really fun video, isn't it? There's this one paper that I found that analyzed 7 different studies to see if social media use had any kind of effect on anxiety, and they had more adult participants and young adult participants in this one, not just children. They found the results, of course, by using similar questionnaires as the depression study, and yep, they found that higher social media use is correlated with higher anxiety levels. Usually anxiety with social media is implicated with the notifications part, like getting a DM, a like, a comment, or something like that. But since I'm supposed to be focusing on the consumer side of TikTok, a better reason for that is the volume of content that you're exposed to every single day, it generates an information overload, which can be pretty overwhelming in and of itself. And when the phone is taken away from you, or you're just taking a break from the phone, you start literally exhibiting withdrawal symptoms because you feel like you might be missing out on the cool new thing. I kind of mentioned that fear of missing out in the first part, right? So yeah, lower attention, depression, and anxiety, they're all implicated in addictive social media use. So we have to be really smart about the way that we're using our social media, especially TikTok. Alright folks, we went over why TikTok can be so addictive and how it can literally rot your brain. We talked about the stimulus itself, the algorithm, and how TikTok designs itself to be addictive. We talked about the organism, that being our brain, and what's actually going on inside our brain while we're watching personalized videos on our algorithm. And finally, the response being addiction and the effects that it can have on us. I feel like the video got a little bit depressive at the end, so I want to send you off with a call to action. You want to stop scrolling so much on TikTok, you want to take control of your life, okay, these are a couple of things that I recommend you doing. And limiting time on the app with settings restrictions, that doesn't typically work for me. So instead, 1, turn off your notifications for social media, Instagram, TikTok. You can do that individually for those apps. Decrease the triggers in your life that lead you to seeking that reward, because sometimes we'll get a DM on Instagram and that'll lead us to scrolling on reels for literally ever. Number 2, go outside. Literally go on a walk in your neighborhood. It's good. It gets that exercise going. It's a little bit of that, and it's also a little bit of a different stimulation. Stimulation that still gives you dopamine, but not so much so to the point where your brain literally has to take away dopamine receptors so you're not abusing that dopamine. Check out a different coffee shop, library, museum. You can go somewhere new every day. Go to a local music concert of a band you don't know whose tickets are really cheap, and you can go alone. You don't have to go with anybody, you can go alone. And number 3, get a hobby. Get a hobby. That's a different type of reward. Coloring, sewing, writing, making YouTube videos or something like that. Maybe you can become the creator instead of the consumer. And even if you don't have like a creative bone in your body, I recommend coloring because it is so easy and it still feels like you put something out there in the world. You can even make outfit collages with the items in your wish list. Stuff like that. Sorry, that's very girly, but the men can do this too. It just feels nice to put something out there instead of in. It feels like you're a real contributing member of society, but like a utopian society where you can do whatever you want. And really, truly, you feel so much more in control of yourself once you find that right thing that really resonates with you. It may take some time, so don't get down on yourself in the process. Get off your phone, log out of TikTok, and go make something absolutely terrible. That's what's going to cure you of this addiction, okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like and subscribe if you did. Thank you for watching. More to come next Saturday. Okay, bye.